Good morning, sections 1, 2, and 3. It is Thursday and it is another writing day. Last time we looked more closely at different poetry elements that included using similes and using sound effects, using metaphors. You could have created a words are like poem or continued with a poem that you've already been working on. Today we're going to explore what's called form in poetry. So, if you want to take a second, you don't have to actually write it down, but take a second to reflect on what you've learned about poetry so far. There's two poems in front of you. One's called September and one's called Porch Light. And I can post this slideshow so that you can go back and read them and look more closely. But for now, I just want you to focus on the form. So I'm noticing that there's 4 lines and a break. 4 lines break, 4 lines break, 4 lines. So looking at this, it looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4 stanzas made up of 4 lines each. And Porch Light, there's no breaks in between, so it looks as if this is actually considered all one stanza, and then you could count the lines to see how many lines there are. And this poet deliberately put one word in one line in the middle of the poem and towards the end of the poem. I'm going to read to you today a poem by Valerie Worth called Fireworks. So, first, I'd like you to just close your eyes and listen. First, a far thud, then the rocket climbs the air, a dull red flare, to hang a moment invisible, before its shut black shell cracks and claps against the ears, breaks and billows into bloom, spilling down clear green sparks, gold spears, silent sliding silver waterfalls, and stars. Listen to all of that sound device, cracks and slaps, booms, billows, breaks. This sounds like some onomatopoeia. And then the silent, sliding silver waterfalls and stars, and the breaks, billows into bloom. We hear alliteration, right? So lots of different sensory details to help us to see and to hear those fireworks. The red flare, invisible, black shell. So here are some for C, and we had discussed what you could hear. What else do you notice about the poem? Is it made up of one stanza, more than one? Are the lines long? Are they short? Do they change as the poem goes on? I'm going to read another poem by Valerie Worth called Flamingo. The flamingo lingers a long time over one pink leg. Later, he ponders upon the other for a while. Pretty simple. Simple poem about a flamingo. For a while instead. I missed that last word there. So, what do you notice about the shape of this poem? How does the shape of the poem Flamingo help you imagine a flamingo? Why do you think the poet shaped it like this? 1 line, 1 word per line the whole time. Does that maybe represent anything when it comes to the flamingo? Something to think about. So, 2 important things to note from today. Again, if you don't have a writer's notebook, you could just simply put these ideas in your head, in your brain. A poem's shape can help the reader understand what it's about. And when we use a purposeful shape, this is called concrete poetry. For writing time, we're going to ask that you continue with poetry where you left off last writing time. You can add sensory language, personification, or onomatopoeia, or other types of figurative language like alliteration in that first poem, Fireworks. Or you can continue to write new poetry. Try giving it a purposeful shape like Fireworks and Flamingo. Here's 3 more examples of concrete poetry. Again, I'll post the slides so you can go back and read them. But this one is written and shaped in a star. This one's called The Mouse's Tail. And this one is called Rainbow. Concrete poetry can be a lot of fun.